Hey, and welcome to the guide on how to gain weight easily as a hard gainer or ectomorph, however you've seen it in the past. What I'm going to do today, myself, Jacob, are going to run you through a few things that help with gaining weight, because personally I put on 25 kilos over the last 3 years, so I just want to give my insights and just yap about the main ideas that will get you there, such as calories, macronutrients, micronutrients, pulling that together with the plate rule and a little bit of inclusive eating as well. And then I've got some free PDFs and good shit at the end that you could download and jump through to make it all easy. So without further ado, I've called this Nutrition 101, but yeah, how to basically gain weight and put on size as a guy to get stronger. Okay, so first thing we really want to have a look at is calories. These are the foundation of body change. When I say body change, I mean body weight change. So calories, as their definition is, are simply a measure of energy. Okay, so eating more will lead our body to store these either as body fat or as muscle, ideally, and gain weight, or eating less will lead to weight loss. Okay, so obviously we want to gain weight, so we want to make sure that we're eating what's called a caloric surplus, and that is how we're going to get bigger. So I'll cover on the next slide with macronutrients, how do we make that muscle and not body fats. But I guess the natural question is, what are we actually using energy on? That is called our total daily energy expenditure, aka our TDEE, and that is from simply running the body. It's called our basal metabolic rate. That is the primary use of all of our energy. Running the brain, contracting our muscles, using the kidneys, using the liver, everything that uses energy is from our body is called the BMR. Okay, so that's number one. Second one is the thermic effect of food. So the energy used to break down, digest, and store, move around food is the thermic effect of food. That's really high in protein, so useful for weight loss, not really useful for us for weight gain. Next one is NEAT, so our non-exercise activity thermogenesis is simply the little fidgets, walking, the little physical activity we do every day that isn't intentional. Okay, so if you find yourself fidgeting, you find yourself parking further from the store to walk more, just by subconscious, that would be considered NEAT. Okay, so next one is exercise activity thermogenesis, which is intentional. So you go for a walk, you spend an hour on the stepper, you go and do resistance training or do a Muay Thai class. These are all considered forms of spending energy expenditure that are intentional. Okay. And what I find is really important with calories is obviously we need to eat in a caloric surplus, so a lot of calories. The most valuable thing I can tell you on here is knowing which foods are high calorie versus low calorie. It's going to be incredibly important for weight control. So if you're going through the day eating a huge amount of food, volume-wise, feeling sickly full, but those are low calorie foods, then you're going to have a really hard time gaining weight. Next is the macronutrients, so having a look at what shapes our body. As I mentioned before, when we gain weight, this could either be body fat or muscle, and the main driver of muscle is going to be, number one, training in the gym, making sure that you're actually putting your body under duress and stimulating the adaptations of muscle growth, and then supporting that with a macronutrient called protein. Okay, protein, one of the biggest ones out there. It's your muscle building macro. It's found in meats, fish, dairy, tofu, legumes, protein powders. You see something that's high protein, it's going to be good for stimulating that muscle growth. Okay, so there's 4 calories per gram per protein. So if a food on the label says it has 20 grams of protein, it's going to be 80 calories. That comes a little bit more in handy when we look at fats, but yeah, protein is your muscle building macro. Next one is carbohydrates. These are our primary energy source. This is grains, veggies, fruits, breads, pastas, oats, all those kinds of foods are going to be very efficient energy sources, easy to digest, and they also provide a good amount of energy per gram. So every food is made up of some kind of combination of macronutrients, carbohydrates, aka carbohydrates, proteins, fats, micronutrients, water, are basically the main ingredients that make up most foods. And if a food is very high in protein, it would be considered a protein food. Carbohydrates, these things still have, for example, grains still have some protein and some fats in them, but at very, very low amounts. So that would still be considered a carbohydrate. Lastly, fats, hormone and mood regulator, regulates our dopamine, serotonin, testosterone, all of our kind of drive and feel good hormones, makes us feel good and makes us want to do things in the day. This is found in nuts, oils, and dairy, butters, There's a lot of foods out there that are quite fatty, but they have a huge advantage in that they do have 9 calories per gram. So you can see in the same amount of volume, how can I exemplify this? We'll say 20 mils of olive oil in a little cup, and we have 20 grams of oats. This cup of olive oil is going to have twice as many calories for the same volume. And you can probably picture as well, olive oil is going to be much easier to digest or just ingest than a 20-gram cup of oats. So fats are very useful for weight gain, guys. Make sure to have a diet that is smashing, that has a huge amount of them, but also has enough protein and carbs for energy and muscle growth, okay? Next one, micronutrients, the small parts that matter. These are going to be our vitamins and minerals. Hydration as well has some important parts regarding minerals, but if you just break that down bit by bit, these are super important in terms of our body's function. Okay, our body functions, it uses all of these vitamins, minerals to, as I mentioned with fats, they are precursors to hormones, so getting your vitamins is really important. This could be vitamins A, D, E, and K, which are fat soluble, which means that they are stored in the fat. They solubilize in fat, and they can be stored for long term. So if you've ever seen someone mention, you should have fish twice a week, that's because the vitamins you get in that are stored in the body fat and can be used long term. Conversely, water-soluble vitamins such as vitamin C need to be replenished daily. Okay, these can't really be stored, I think, at all. So you need to make sure that you're having this regularly, and that's why they mention you should have 6 serves of veg a day and 2 serves of fruit, because these are high in vitamin C. You can regularly make sure that your body has that, and then facilitate the functions of vitamin C, such as lay down collagen, which if you've ever heard of vitamin C deficiency, people will get scurvy, like the dudes, the pirates back in the old days. Next is minerals, calcium from dairy, magnesium from nuts, iron from red meats. So similarly, these are they all carry their own functions. For example, iron in red meat is used to carry oxygen. So therefore, your diet is low in red meat and low in iron in general, then you're going to have issues with carrying blood or just building the hemoglobin that carries oxygen, and you're going to be lethargic. Okay, so each deficiency has its own kind of effect in the world. So that's why I'll cut it short. That's why these things, vitamins and minerals, make you feel good. Okay, they all provide a function. If you don't have them, the function is not basically able to be completed, and thus you suffer the consequences. Okay, so that's vitamins and minerals as a whole. Hydration, make sure, easy way to make sure that you are hydrated is just to drink more water. And then when you pee, you'll see if that's clear, you're good. If it's not, then you should probably maybe drink more. But also keep in mind that water needs to be balanced with salt and potassium, aka sodium and potassium. And that is because there needs to be a nice balance of those with the water. Otherwise, you're going to have issues moving the water around, and that just is inefficient, really. So salt is found in a lot of foods. You probably quite know where that would be found. But foods like coconut water, or drinks like coconut water, and bananas are great starting points for potassium. So they make us feel good, and eating a wide variety of whole foods is the simplest way to cover all of these bases. Cool, so how do we pull all of that together, right? I've got a nice little rule here that I found online that I've been using for a while, and it's awesome, and that's called the plate rule, okay? So it's a way to exemplify, it's a way to enact the Mediterranean diet, okay? So structure every meal around fiber, protein, and healthy fats. So I didn't cover that before, but healthy fats are essentially avocado, salmon, like the fatty parts of it, olive oil, canola oils are right as well, and nuts and seeds are as well, okay? So they're full of polyunsaturated fats, just unsaturated fats in general. They're going to be good for you. So if you Google unsaturated fats, you'll find healthy fats. And if you Google saturated fats, those will be a little less healthy, but they're still fat sources, high in calories. So fiber is found in vegetables and whole grains for fullness and gut health. So that allows your digestion to be efficient and for you to feel good. Protein is for muscle and repair, as we mentioned already, and then healthy fats are for your hormones, and also they are very satisfying and calorie-dense macronutrients. So they're very useful. So that's the plate rule. Make sure to have some fiber, some protein, and some healthy fats. Okay, so here we got some protein, some carbs, a lot of fiber here, and there's some healthy fats in the middle. And it's probably cooked in olive oil as well. So that is another healthy fat. So that's the plate rule as a whole. Also, it's important to think about inclusive eating. So people these days are very exclusive. They think about exclusive eating, like I shouldn't eat seed oils. I shouldn't eat red meats. I shouldn't eat X, Y, Z. I think they've got it backwards, and you should just flip it over and think about inclusive eating, and always think whenever there's a new meal or whenever you are just preparing food in general at the shops, etc., think about adding more. Add more, add more, add a new vegetable this time, add a new protein source this time. Maybe you haven't had turkey in a while, you could add that, or some kind of fish sauce. The more you eat, the better, because you're going to cover the micronutrients and macronutrients that we mentioned in the last 2 slides much easier, and you're going to get everything that your body basically wants. So just think inclusive eating, always add more, right? For example, here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ingredients. There's a not lime as well, so 9 ingredients, probably cooked in olive oil, so 10 ingredients. So eating this meal is going to have a huge amount of various minerals, vitamins, as well as the macronutrients held within. So thanks for coming this far, guys. That's the main breakdown of the theory. I'll put a link below to my weight gain foods, as well as my example day of eating, to give you a structure of what you should eat in a day to gain weight, as well as some foods to include in those meals that are more calorically dense. And also put a link to my 10-day challenge down below as well, if you want to just sign up to that. It's basically a 10-day free coaching where there's workouts, PDFs, automated videos that are already recorded by me, similar to this one, that are just going to be more, they're going to be better because I value it more in the coaching. And it'll get you started with gaining weight in a nice little kind of structured way.